So I'm going to be using a real life project to actually explain to you guys so that uh, I will also, that's why after this class, there are some basic topics that I will quickly take you understand, for you to have a solid understanding of how to use React and Next.js. So now when I click on, okay, let me share my screen so that you can see my entire screen. So now, the first thing I'm going to be doing is that I'll be teaching you the file, or let me say the directory structure. Now, if you remember yesterday, I was able to, okay, let me just show you first what I'm building so that you can, okay, let me go to the home page. Okay, so this is the home page, as you can see, as you can see. So if I click on any of this, it will load me to the particular service that I'm actually requesting. But that's not what I'm actually trying to tell you. Just for you to know that everything you've been doing in HTML, in CSS, can also be extended using React. And one interesting thing is that I've seen people that just said, "Oh, uh, I'm using React." Ask them about CSS, ask them about HTML, ask them about Bootstrap class. If they can't really answer you very well, definitely maybe they are just using AI to copy code and paste code. And that's not the best way to learn it. So now the first thing you must understand is the directory structure. Very important. Directory structure. Now let me go to Visual Studio Code. There are some things I will not go back. Go and watch the last video. I told you that when you want to start a project, you can keep it anywhere on your system. Like now, this one, I kept it. Okay, let me start from there. Let me close. Let me close. Let me start from there so that it will just be a form of revision to the last thing we are doing, or to the last class rather. So now, as you can see, so let me close this also. I'm going to close it. Okay. So the first thing you do is that you open your Visual Studio. So what I'm actually doing is that I want to open my new project. Thank God I told you yesterday that anytime you want to start a fresh project, you click on what? You type npx space create next what? Next app. Am I right? Slash at least latest dot. But this time around, uh okay, normally, it has even opened it by default. So normally, if it didn't open it by default, I'll just go to File. I'll go to Open Folder. So I will select that particular folder where my project is, so that it will actually open like this. Now, let me tell you about the file structure or the directory structure that I'm saying. This is the Andymat services. This .NET is automated. This is my app. So anytime you see any work that is being done by React, one of the things is that you see app directory. You will see this one is very important, package.json. You understand? So if these are not there, there's no way I can run this code and it will work. So now let's go and run this code so that we'll see how it will look like on our browser. And don't forget that I told you yesterday that the directory to run your React is what? Localhost colon what? 3000. Is that clear? So, but even though you go and press that, nothing will happen. Let me go and press that and see if any, can you see localhost colon 3000? If I click from now till any time, nothing is going to happen. So that means I will now go to my Visual Studio to wait till you see this directory. So if there's any existing processing that is going to, just press Control C. You understand? It will cut that existing process so that it will bring this one fast. Do you understand that? So Anyone that actually use terminal or use command prompt will understand that. So now the next thing I'm going to do is npm says what? Run space dev. This is one of the major code we run yesterday. And we'll click on enter. So what I'm saying is that this is my Andymat services project. I want computer to what? To run it for me so that I will see it in my local host 3000. Do you understand? So while he's doing this, you wait for it patiently. You wait for it. So let's just wait for it. Okay, so can you see it's still writing compiling? So I'm waiting for it. This is what you just be doing. Let's go back to this place. While you are waiting, keep refreshing this place. So anytime that is set, this one will load. So that's what I'm doing. So I'll still go back. And that's why you must be very observant. Any single thing that is writing here has a meaning. So by the time you are developing, it will be giving you different errors, but don't be perplexed. Any error that is giving you, there's a solution to it. Just find, even if you are not familiar with the error, type it on Google or any AI. You understand? It can actually guide you in solving it. You understand? So it's still writing compiling. You don't have a choice. You have to still wait for it till it's going to be done. Since it's not throwing error in the terminal, that means it's still in the process. Can you see it's saying compiling? And you could see these three dots. So you still wait for it. Okay, while that one is doing, let's quickly be saying one or two things. Now, the after we know the structure, another very important thing. Let me go back to this place and show you something. Why is actually you could see that under app I have different folders, different folders, different folders, different. All these one you are seeing, they are folders. Do you understand? The essence is that so that no one will know the particular page where my work is actually working. I remember there was a time I gave two of our team to actually do a project. One of the things I told them that even while using HTML and CSS, you can also still do the same thing. We actually call it routing. It will make your work to be more what? Professional. Like, oh, maybe your register.php. Now people are seeing it. Do you understand? I do that, but it depends on the project. You understand? So, but if you want to take your time, what you would do is that for every page, you create a what? A routing or a folder for it. So, for example, register, and I'll create a folder known as what? Register. I will now put my what? My index.php inside. That will be the major page that would what? Prompt the register.php. Do you understand? So the register.php, I will paste it inside my what? Register. Do you understand? Oh, maybe there is contact, code for contact. Maybe normally it should be contact.php. I'll copy the code, create a folder known as what? Contact, put a file known as what? Index.php. I will now paste the code. I don't know if you are getting me. The same thing is what I'm doing here. I'm trying to relate. Okay, sorry that I'm saying PHP. Even if it is HTML, you understand? You will not just say you will not just say index or HTML. You understand? You will make sure you first create a folder before you now put the index of what? HTML. was saying that because of Mary. So I not feel that, oh no, I'm not yet in PHP. I understand you. Let's see. Okay, well, can you see that our project is open? Now, let's look at it in this way. This is a single page, right? Now, the concept is that normally I'm coming from the foundation. Normally, any programmer, you understand, or any web developer are familiar to what? Div, right? So this is nav div, right? This is hero what? Div or animation div. Let me go on. This is the service what? Div. All these ones is service what? Div. Then this is what? The footer. Hmm? And then you say div space class equals navbar. Abi, hero also with div space what? Class equals what? Equals hero. Do you understand? Later, we develop to using HTML5. Hmm? So for the top one, we just say what? Nav. Are you following? The hero also, you just say hero. You understand? The footer, footer. Are you getting all these things? Now, the question now is still almost the same thing. That's the interesting thing about this thing. You don't need to, let me just be copying. No, have a detail so that when you go for interview or you want to defend a project, you would confidently defend it. You understand? Now, looking at this now, this is now the shift. The shift is that for the nav bar, are you getting me? That means we'll now be creating different components for different sections. Are you following? Different what? Component for different section or different component for different what? Div. That means I will have what? Navbar component. I will have hero component. I will have service component. And I will have footer what? Component. Do you know with that I'm through with my work? Are you following? Now, let's go on. So that means the first thing I'm going to do, going back to my structure, is that I will create component folder. Can you see? Component folder. And inside it, you will see all my components. Can you see? Footer.tsx. Hmm? Instead of saying JXX, it's TSX. And I told you the difference between JSX and what? And TSX. So can you see for my euro, dot what? TSX. For my navbar dot what? TSX. For my service dot what? For my sidebar dot what? Because I'm using some of these for my dashboard. You understand? So that means that since I have my component there separately, that means there will not be another page. Please, are you following with me? Where I will now combine all the what? All the components. So now let's do that. Now, I'm leaving the component folder now. But okay, let me show you one of the components so that you understand what I'm trying to say. Let me say nav bar components. There is nothing different from what you know in HTML. Let me prove it to you. Let me prove it to you. Is a So what I would do that will make it to be very easy is that I want to forget about all this big code. Let me just go to the major part and just put a simple code somewhere. Control C. Look at me. File, new file. Look at me. Control P so that I'll be able to explain each of this line. I'm using a very simple code. Now look at me. This is where still leave this use client. I'm just trying to let you know that it's the same what thing that you've been doing before. I know before you get to this stage, God's love has taught you about JavaScript, right? Look at me. Come to this place. Okay, let's ignore this one. Maybe you can tell me that sir, I'm not familiar with export default. Leave it, but you are familiar with function. Abi? So after function, what is the next thing? The next thing is the what? The function name. So what is the function name? Navbar. Don't forget that I'm building what? Navbar components separately. I'll build the hero component separately. I'll build the what? Footer separately. So now I'm now at the navbar component. Are you following? And at the navbar, there is something you must know. By the time you are even learning more about React, about React Native, building mobile app, and the like. Everything is about function. Everything you are doing in any of those codes, building mobile app, everything is about function. So that's why they said function space what? Nah, but that is the component I want to build. After that, parenthesis, open curly brace. Let me put, because I didn't copy the closing words, curly brace. Are you following? So that it has removed that error. Are you following? Now, after that, let's still leave all this. I want to leave things that will be confusing to you. Hmm? Let me just teach you the default. Now, after that, you will now use return keyword. The meaning of return is that anything inside this return function, it means that that is what we go and show to the what to the user. So that means return open parenthesis. I'll close the what the parenthesis of return. Did you see? So that means function space what? The name of the function, open parenthesis, then open curly brace, close what? Curly brace. Then I will now go inside and put what? Return, open parenthesis, close what? Parenthesis. After that, every code you are seeing inside this return, they are your normal HTML code that you know before. So that is that's a good congratulations to you that you're already almost through with the course. Everything you know that you've learned since you started this course, things like what? Your table, things like your form, things like your CSS, things like your bootstrap, everything you can start using it and it will work perfectly. Let me now tell you the little difference. The little difference is this. Can you see that this is normal now, Abby? And I give it class name. Now, in your normal HTML, you understand, you say class, right? Equal, but now you don't use class. You use class name. Class what? Name. Class name. Class name. Are you following? Can you see that? That's it. So, and that's to tell you that. So maybe you now keep something. If you like, you can create another folder here and call it style. So don't think that all your CSS has gone. No, they are still intact. So I can create a folder called style and put all my .css. You understand? That you know before. So that's why even any project that you've done, you can convert if you like. But there's no difference. Are you following? So that means if you want to get any of the CSS, you just go and give the name of the what? Of the class here. You understand? Maybe inside yourself you use one dot alaba or one dot header. So you just put class name because what? Header here. But another interesting thing is that you might not need to be linking externally with your CSS. You can use what we call tailwind. What do I call it? Tailwind. It works almost like your bootstrap classes. That is, by default, mere writing everything you want to write here, it will come with all the properties. You understand? Look at this one now. W fill BG. This one is VDIV in the color of the BG. The text that will be on the nav is what? White, shadow small, border, then what? Border gradient, everything they need. We call it tailwind to what? CSS. So you don't need to stress yourself. The second div also do the same thing. Are you following? Now, let me now tell you why is it that they are putting export in front of this function? Export in front of what? This function. Why? Why? Because I'm starting from the level you are familiar with before. Function, now, in fact, I love function to any level because it's everything in every programming language. Either you are learning data science, either you are learning model, either you are learning even cybersecurity. There's no way you don't need function. So I love function. I'm addicted to it. I also want you to be addicted to it. How do you know a function that you are calling? The parenthesis, the function name and the word parent. But now we're actually creating this function. Do you understand? Now, export default. Why do we say export default? The reason is because they know that they will need this function. That is, what is the function that I'm saying now? navbar, but we call it component because they know that they will need it in the home page, abi, because they will call it. So that's what they just export it. Because if it is not exported, that means you are using it privately. They will not be able to use it in another what page. So that's what they say export default. That is export by default. Are you following? Okay. Now, another thing that you are seeing in this code. Don't worry, I'm rounding up for this class. I'm just trying to show you some definite thing you need to know now. Now you could see use clients. What do I call it? Use client. Don't be scared. The meaning of use client is that anytime you know that that particular page, you will deal with events, you will deal with states, and you will deal with click. You deal with what? Click, event, or state. What's the meaning of you? Maybe you need to click a menu. Do you understand? You will need to do events. You know the meaning of event attributes now? Is it on click? Is it double click? You must use what? Use what client. It's as simple as that. Now, see again, import. Import is a common word in every programming language. Import simply means that, oh, I will need some features here. Oh. You understand? For example, I will need image here. I said import what? Image from what? Nest slash image. I will need link. Import link from what? From nest slash what? Link. All those things, they are global. Computer understand it. It's not as if I kept any image somewhere. So nothing I'm referring to something I know. Don't worry. Just use it. Computer will have the fish or the ability to be able to use the what? The image. If it is link, it will have it. Do you understand? So let me just take you those key things for today. And let's now go to what? The same thing is what? My hero section. So, but the part I will round up with now is that let's now go and see how we can now combine all the what? All the components into a single page. This page that you are seeing that is interesting, that you are seeing like, oh wow, there is nothing that is there. It's just components that I combine. So let's go to the page. Now, the page now, you now go, please, when you are building, just like you are building your normal home page, you call it index.html. Sometimes PHP, you call it index of PHP. You don't need to do that in, but the only thing is that you make sure that after app, okay, let me close this app. Open my app. You make sure you drop your page.tsx directly in the app, not inside a folder. You understand? So that's why this is it. This is the page dot what? This is my own page. Are you following? Oh, are you sure that this guy is not out of the class? Because I had a sound like, okay, okay. So Mary, are you still follow? Oh, admit. Okay, thank God I'm recording. Whichever the case. And when did you leave the class? I didn't know you've left. Oh.
Is one call that interrupted my network.
You need to
When
go
you
and
mention
do.
import,
Eh?
when you mention import,
Okay,
import,
import.
import.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So now, the next thing we want to do now is that we now want to go and build our own page. Am I still sharing? Okay, I think I'm still on sharing. Can you still see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now the next thing I want to do now is that my own page. I told you the home page will not be in a subfolder. It must be directly inside the what? The app folder. So that's why you are seeing it here. So let's go and open it. Interesting. Can you see that the page, my own page is very few? Why? Because everything I needed is already in my component. So what did I need to do here? Let's still leave this. Okay, let's start from the top. Because you must begin to import each of it because I know I needed navbar. So I will say import what? Navbar. And please take note, anytime you are creating a component, it must always start, we call it Pascal model of writing. That is, in Java, we call it camel case. Camel case is that for each word, you use capital letter. So since navbar is together, so just use for each word, navbar. Can you see the n is capital? So that's how you know a component. You understand? So import what? Navbar from where? The direct, it's inside component folder. Do you understand? Navbar. Are you following? Is the function name they are saying. You don't need, normally the name of the page is navbar.tsx. No, you don't need to put that. Is the what? the function name. Abi, the same way, import hero from this, import service from this, import footer. Abi, is that not what the things after that? You now say the same export because it will still work with function. And that's export default function. What is the function name? Home. Open parenthesis, close parenthesis. After that, return. Have I said anything different? And you now start putting in in uh in in bracket like this, but not this type of this thing of like you are writing less than and greater than sign, like a tag. Thank you. Like a tag. You've converted to a tag. That's why I said nav bar. All this one is just comments, so I can remove it. Do you understand? It won't change anything because so that you know if if I remove it, it won't work. It won't change anything. It won't change anything. It's a comment. Do you understand? Do you understand? It's not as if it will make my code not to work. So let's go back. But the major thing that matters is this nav bar. Hero. You just be putting like that. What else? Services and what? Footer. And I kept everything inside what? Inside div, class name. Are you getting me? Very interesting. So that's where I'm going to stop the class. So by the time you are through with home page, you now start creating every other one pages, but you'll be putting it inside a directory that is a folder. So see you in the next class. Thank you.